Imagine a world where humans interact with greedy trolls, plotting witches, spiteful imps, and jealous fairies. Which actually is a lot like working in television, but that's a different story. More specifically, this is the setting for a series of fantastical books called Fablehaven. The newest release is Grip of the Shadow Plague. Its author is Brandon Mull, and Brandon, what are you? You're like 12. How old?
I'm 33. I'm 33.
Are you really?
I'm a young-looking guy, but I'm 33.
Okay. You know what? I have not read this series, but my daughters have, and absolutely love it. They're avid readers, and in fact, my daughter tells me I'm a big fan of Terry Brooks and Sword of Shannara, and she says they're very, very much like that.
Yeah. I mean, I get really good feedback from fans of fantasy. I mean, the idea of it being Fablehaven's kind of a wildlife park for magical creatures, and it seems to get really good responses from both kids and adults.
So tell me, because, you know, there's another book that is out now that I talked to last week. Its author, it's this one's specifically for boys. It's called Nick of Time. And there's no sex in it. There's no bad language. There's nothing. And kids gobble it up, and I don't mean kids. I mean, like, you know, young adults. Your readers. You're number 4 on the New York Times list for young readers. What is the secret to making a good story, one that's not offensive to your parents?
It's all about making a story tense or interesting. Isn't necessarily about including sex or making the violence really gory. It's more about having the characters face really interesting trouble. And in Fablehaven, I try really hard to have characters that face interesting trouble, and usually if those characters are conscientious characters, moral themes are going to bubble to the surface. Like in book 1, you end up with themes like choice and consequences, or in book 2, it becomes like, who do you trust? Or in book 3, how do you discern between light and darkness or good and evil? And those kind of themes tend to arise as the characters in the books deal with the trouble that faces them.
Right. And it's a lot, you know, anything you can do to get your kids to read something like this instead of watching television. I mean, it's amazing to me. Do you hear from parents that say, you know, gosh, thank you? Because I have a hard time, and I'm not kidding you, I have a hard time with my little kids, even now reading Winnie the Pooh, because it's so washed and it's void of any kind of right or wrong anymore. Do you hear from parents who say, thank you for having some right and wrong in the story?
You know, yeah, I do. I get very good feedback on the books. In the areas where the books have been discovered, it's the kind of book where it gets read by kids, it gets read by adults, and it's like the #1 in circulation in the libraries, you know, in the areas where that's happening. And parents really have been responding well to the fact that not only does it not have bad stuff in it, it's got good stuff in it, and it's a book that's entertaining and fun and proves to kids that reading can be a fun experience.
Yeah, and you know I mean, I tell you, when you find a book like that and you're a kid, there is just absolutely nothing better. And for me at least, it was Sherlock Holmes, and it changed the course of my life. I hated to read until I read Sherlock Holmes. Name of the book is Fablehaven. Brandon, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was good
bet.
talking to you.